So, full transparency, I don't really know how I want to start this video. Normally I have a general idea of how I want to start off the video, like the intro and all that, but this might have been the weirdest game of the season for the Sens. Now, at the end of the day, they do win, so I'm not upset because of the result, obviously, but if there was ever a game where the Sens would win and I'm annoyed, it would be tonight. I did a watch party for the game tonight, and I am so glad I did because I probably got some gold reactions during it. Oh man, like there's so much I want to say. I'm gonna say more once we get into the stats. Let's just go ahead and get right into it here because there is some stuff I gotta say about this game, dude. So, Game 70 of the season was played on Monday, March 23rd against the New York Rangers. It was a 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. This is the third and final meeting of the season between these two teams. So they split the first two meetings, so the Sens do go 2-1 against the Rangers this season. So starting goalies were James Reimer for the Sens and Igor Shesterkin for the Rangers. So basically, Reimer was, well, let's just say he was probably having a hard time staying awake during this one, and Shesterkin stood on his head. Yep. Sens were 36-24 and 9 coming into tonight, and the Rangers were 28-33 and 9 coming into tonight. And this is a weird one, dude. I'm not going to waste any time. We're just going to flip over to the stats because there is some stuff I gotta say. Yeah, so where exactly do you even begin with these stats? I don't know. I really don't know. We're just gonna go ahead and start running through them. So, the Sens win by a score of 2-1 over the Rangers. I don't know how it was 2-1. This game should have been like 8-1. Literally. And that is not exaggerating. So the Sens move up to 37-24 and 9 on the season. The Rangers dropped to 28-34 and 9. The shots were 33-9 for the Sens. Now, there was a stat they showed. Fun fact, by the way, this was the only game on the schedule tonight. So, yeah, anyone who was in the mood for NHL hockey, this was the only thing you could watch. You witnessed a pretty weird one tonight. But anyways, they showed a stat. Since, I think it was 2010-2011, since that season, the Rangers are the second team since the 2010-2011 season to have 4 shots through the first 2 periods. Yeah. Like, this was a historically bad performance by the Rangers, and they only lost by 1. That's what's crazy. And it gets even crazier. Face-off percentage, oddly enough, the Rangers dominate. 64.3% for them, 35.7% for the Sens, so that's also weird. Look at the power play. 1 for 7 were the Sens. 1 for 7. Rangers go 0 for 3. Meaning, if you take out the Sens power play goal, we got a tie game. The game would have been tied. And they had so many great chances. They were, I think, 2 goal posts, might have been more than 2, but again, at the end of the day, they do win. A win is a win, right? They get 2 points, but if there was ever a game where the Sens win and I'd be frustrated about it, it would be this one. This was such a bizarre game. I cannot fathom it. And the hits, 39-23. The Rangers have so many hits because they barely had the puck. They looked like they didn't want to be there for most of the game, to be honest. I mean, you know, they are dead last. They are going through it. This is a team with just 9 home wins this season, but they did not look very interested most of the night. I skipped the penalty minutes, by the way. 16 for the Rangers, 8 for the Sens. Block shots, 12-8 in favor of the Sens. giveaways apparently 17 by the Rangers and 16 by the Sens. That doesn't seem accurate, but I guess I'll take their word for it. Takeaways were 5-4 in favor of the Sens. And as mentioned, this was the final meeting of the season between these two teams. This is just such a weird game, dude. And so, as I mentioned, I did do a watch party for the game tonight, so I do want to thank those of you who came out. And as I always do for games with games that I do watch parties for, I do not take notes. So we're just going to go ahead and run through the scoring summary. So Shane Pinto would get things started in the first period at the 6:30 mark on the power play. He would score his 19th of the season from Giroux and Spence, and the Sens go up 1-0. And there's the shot totals in this game is just I'm kind of speechless. The Rangers looked horrible tonight, absolutely horrible, but they only lose by 1. So moving on to the second period here, Foegele would score his 12th of the season from Eller at the 6:46 mark. Sens go up 2-0. So it's just it's funny because here we are in the second intermission, right? The Sens are up 2-0. They are out shooting the Rangers 26-4. 26-4 after 2 periods. And I said this, I don't know how many times during the watch party, but I knew the Rangers were going to pop one in. I knew it, right? So, surely enough, Sheary would score at the 7:03 mark of the third period from Cartier and Robertson, and this makes it 2-1. So, just even though the Sens, it was basically a game of keep away for most of the night. It really was. You look at the 9 shots, I mean, and no, sometimes the stats don't tell the story. Oh, they tell the story tonight. They definitely tell the story tonight. But yeah, just I know this might sound negative, but I was waiting for them to tie it, and I was waiting for the Sens to blow it. But they held on. I guess they held on. It just feels weird to say that, considering the fact that they dominated completely. But also, I am checking the stats because, again, they like to change things on me later on. Face-off percentage was actually 61.9% for the Rangers, 38.1% for the Sens. So, there you go. Yeah, this was a really, really bizarre game. There's no other way to explain it. So, the 3 stars of the game, Foegele was the first star. He had a goal. And Pinto was the second star. He had the opening goal. Foegele scored the game winner, of course. And the third star of the game, the only reason this game was not a blowout win, Shesterkin with a .939 save percentage. So if we take a look at the box score here, so looking at the forwards, Pinto and Foegele, as mentioned, were your goal scorers. And Giroux and Eller both drew an assist. Wow, I can speak. Plus minus, Zetterlund, Foegele, and Eller were all +1. Pinto, Nick Cousins, and Amadio were all -1. Ice time leader for forwards was Stützle. I feel like he had kind of a quiet night tonight, actually. He played 22-16. He didn't have a point. He had 1 shot. He kind of had a bit of a quiet night, I feel like. And he also had a hit as well. Shot leader for forwards was Pinto and Dylan Cousins. They had 4 each. And Tkachuk leading the way in hits with 5. And now the defense. There is, oh God, the defense. So only 1 point for the defense. That was Spence. He had an assist. And for plus minus, Clevin was +1. Spence was -1. The ice time. Spence ends up playing 26:44 because Shabbat got hurt early on, and Thompson also got hurt as well. So the Sens played most of this game with 4 defensemen, which is just another reason why this is such a bizarre game. They were missing a third of their defense for a majority of the night, and I'm just so thankful this was against the Rangers and not a stronger team, or else they would have got smoked, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Shabbat or Thompson. The Sens cannot afford to lose any more defensemen. They've already got Sanderson out. They've got Jensen out. Gilbert got hurt in the last game. So now, could you imagine if Shabbat and Thompson are both hurt? That's 5 defensemen hurt right there. So we're going to start seeing guys that I've never even heard of pretty soon. But yeah, I thought the defense did well. They played well. Just look at the ice time here, dude. Spence, as mentioned, 26:44. Clevin played 24:30. Zoo played 23:44. Matt and Paolo played 18:19. That is way more than any of those guys are used to playing, and I thought they all did really well tonight, honestly. So then, continuing looking at the stats here, Clevin led the way in shots. He had 6. Clevin had 6 shots on his own. The entire Ranger team had 9. So that tells you everything you have to know right there. Matt and Paolo led the way in blocks with 4, and Spence led the way in hits with 4. So if we look at Reimer's save percentage, it is once again another sub 900 save percentage. He stops 8 out of 9. Such a busy night, right? 9 shots, 9 whole shots. So 889 save percentage for Reimer there. The one that went in, that's like, whatever. I mean, this was a weird one. There's no other way to explain it. Just, we're going to have to get some kind of a fact check on the Rangers, because, like, 9 shots. 9. And you look at the power play, like, this game could have legit been, like I said, 8-1 if the Sens had better finishing abilities, but again, at the end of the day, a win is a win, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. But this is such a bizarre game. I know I keep saying it, but my goodness. So moving forward here, the Sens are going to be right back at it again tomorrow night for a huge game against the Detroit Red Wings. So Tuesday, March 24th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Start Time. This game is massive because right now, as it stands, the Red Wings are 1 point out of a playoff spot, and guess what? The Sens are 1 point behind the Red Wings, 2 points out of a playoff spot. So tomorrow night, that game could be really entertaining. It should be. It should be, because these two teams are right on the cusp of a wild card spot. So, yeah, it should be a fun one. And I do plan to do a watch party for it as well, so you might see me pretty animated tomorrow night on stream. So yeah, do look out for that. And that is pretty much all I want to say, guys. So once again, big shout out and thank you to everyone who came out to the watch party tonight. Again, it was a weird one, and I'm sure I got some pretty great reactions to stuff on stream tonight. But yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. So the Sens win a bizarre one tonight, 2-1 over the Rangers, and they are going to look to continue their hot streak tomorrow night in a massive game against the Red Wings. But thank you all so much for watching, guys, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you all again, and go Sens, go.